As you may be aware, there's a lot of work that goes into the peer review process of each submitted grant application before it may reach a panel meeting. To learn more about that, we invite you to watch our application process and peer reviewer responsibilities videos. This video is designed to explain what happens during a peer review panel once all the preliminary work has been completed and applications are ready to be discussed and scored. But first, a little bit about who we are. The Institute of Education Sciences, or IES, is the nation's premier source for research, evaluation, and statistics that can help educators, policymakers, parents, and other stakeholders improve outcomes for all students. Here, we'll be describing the general peer review processes related to two of IES's centers, the National Center for Education Research, or NCER, and the National Center for Special Education Research, or NCSER.
Peer review panels typically consist of between 10 and 20 people who review approximately 20 applications per panel. Panels are directed by seasoned, credentialed professionals, a scientific review officer, or SRO, and a panel chair with assistance from a review technical assistant.
Thank you everyone for participating on this.
The SRO is responsible for panel proceedings and ensuring the integrity of the review process.
We'll be discussing applications.
The panel chair is an experienced senior reviewer appointed by IES and is responsible for presiding over the panel discussion. This person participates fully as a panel member and also scores each application.
Are there any applications that have not survived the triage process and that you would like to consider?
The Review Technical Assistant, or RTA, is an administrative assistant to the SRO. This person assists the panel with clerical and administrative needs. IES staff also typically observes the panel. To begin, preliminary instructions and information are provided to the panel, and discussion of the applications begins, based on the panel's order of review.
Our next application is application number R999.
Riley, you have a COI on this one. Could you sign out?
Prior to discussing each individual application, panel members with conflicts of interest, or COIs, are asked to excuse themselves and leave the meeting room. The RTA then posts the primary reviewer's initial criterion and overall scores for the application so that the scores are visible to the whole panel.
Our first reviewer is Linda Mason. Linda, when you're ready.
I found a number of strengths in this proposal.
The first reviewer then describes the proposed research and presents their critique to the panel. This also includes a summary of the application's strengths and weaknesses.
To enable them to derive meaning of unknown words they encounter in reading.
The second reviewer presents their evaluation, elaborates on areas of agreement or disagreement with the first reviewer, and offers any additional comments or considerations.
A minor concern that Linda identified is that the PI had devoted just 23% of the time to the project. However, I think that's offset by the co-PI.
If there are any additional reviewers, the process repeats until everyone has presented their critiques.
Thank you, David. And our third and last reviewer is Herb.
Thanks, Anna. I agree with most of what Linda and Dave had to say about the strength of this application regarding the significance. They put in place a really good plan for monitoring attrition at both the teacher level and at the student level. Overall, this is a very strong application.
Let's open up the discussion.
The chair then opens the discussion to the full panel, where everyone may ask questions, offer their perspectives, or make comments.
That PI has improved many aspects of the project, so I'm very excited about this resubmission.
It's important to note that the panel does not need to reach a consensus on the opinion of the merits of each application. Panel members can remain having mixed feelings about an application.
That's a concern. That's not really something to worry about.
Well, that's a really good point, Susan.
Throughout this discussion, which may last 20 to 30 minutes, a previously assigned synthesizer is taking notes. This individual is not a primary reviewer on the particular application being deliberated, but is responsible for writing a summary of the panel's discussion. This summary captures the discussion outside of what is part of the main critiques.
I'd like us to move in the direction of the synthesis now.
Once the discussion is complete, the synthesizer reads back their summary to the panel.
Notes that I've been jotting down.
The panel can give feedback or request any necessary changes, and then the synthesis is finalized.
well suited for the intended purposes.
Thank you, Susan. For the synthesis, we would proceed next.
When the discussion has concluded and the synthesis has been approved by the panel,
Do you want to make any adjustments to your scores?
the primary reviewers have the opportunity to revisit their scores. These revised scores are posted for the panel to view. Then, all panel members privately score the application, entering both criterion and overall scores using the Primo online scoring module, and panel review of this application is complete. At this point, panel members with COIs are brought back and the panel prepares to move on to the next application in the order of review. When the panel has finished all assigned reviews, panel member service is complete. That's it. Once the panel reviews are complete and all application scores are submitted and validated, this information is sent on to the relevant IES center for funding decisions.
IES is honored to have so many dedicated professionals contribute to this critically important process. We hope that by viewing this video, you have a better understanding of how a grant peer review panel works. Thank you.
For more information, visit the peer review page of the Institute of Education Sciences website at ies.ed.gov/director/SRO.